Hello and welcome to SaltWire today for Tuesday, October 18th. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Members of the Woodlawn United Church in Dartmouth have been targeted with a text and email scam, including pleas for gift cards. Somebody behind a 902 number falsely identifying themselves as the pastor of the church began asking for gift card donations to a series of members of the congregation back in January.
2 or 3 people in the congregation notified me that they were pretty sure it wasn't me that sent them the text, and they wanted me to know that somebody was using my name or my identity, that it was a scam.
The suspect was using White's photo attached to the messages to appear more convincing. So convincing that some members attempted to buy the gift cards thinking it was real.
The other minister here had to go out and buy something, and he happened to go into the exact same location that one of our members was in there. She was about to buy gift cards, thinking it was going to me to help someone that needed help. And he realized what was happening and told her that, no, don't do that. It's a scam.
RCMP say the person sending the text gave explicit instructions about how to take photos of the backs of the gift cards, including pins. The scams included requests of up to hundreds of dollars in cards. Mounties searched the number texts were coming from and were able to trace it back to a company in Waterloo, Ontario. White says, unfortunately, the search came to a dead end and police have not been able to catch the scammer. About 30 people gathered outside Province House in Halifax today to protest a housing development planned for the Eisner Cove wetland area in Dartmouth. Bill Zebedee, an area resident who had submitted an appeal to the minister on behalf of the Protect Our Southdale Wetland Society to try to head off the development, said the rally and a petition presented in the House today with 328 signatures asks the government to stop the work and protect the wetlands into the future.
They're going to be trucking in about almost an acre of gravel to fill in the causeway, fill in the wetland to build a causeway to link the Mount Hope side with the Lynn Drive side of the development.
Work has been underway in the area for months with clear cutting and the construction of a roadway through the wetlands proposed to support the development of Mount Hope Village. It's a 45-hectare development led by Clayton Developments that proposes to build 700 housing units on top of the Eisner Cove wetland between the Woodside Industrial Park and Highway 111.
They can stop clear cutting because that needs to stop in Mi'kmaq. We'll have nothing left for the animals. You know, where are all the wildlife in that area going to go? You're going to flood the city with wildlife in that area.
NDP leader and MLA for Dartmouth South, where the wetlands sit, Claudia Chender, was in the House today and tabled the petition. More questions than answers are being raised about one of Halifax's tallest buildings going up near the Northwest Arm. This building is planned to be at least 33 stories high on Quimpool Road near the Armdale roundabout. Some residents are concerned by the lack of consultation with the public over this massive development, with little to no information about the project posted at the construction site or on the city's website. However, the project got the green light under the old land use zoning rules that had no height restrictions. This is a photo of the building on the developer's website, and this is what's currently being built. The project is an as-of-right development, the city's website says. You have the right to develop your property as you see fit, as long as your development companies will all zoning regulations. In January 2019, the city's planning department issued a construction permit to 177 Developments Incorporated. Some local residents feel they deserve to know more about what the city could be planning, the tallest building that's going up in their backyard. There's no word on how large the building will be or when it's set to be completed. The wait list for families trying to access childcare across Nova Scotia is climbing, and specifically in rural areas, there is a lack of daycare space. Some parents are now forced to stay home from work to care for their children as a result, and qualified daycare operators are unable to open their own private spaces under the federal government's childcare plan. SaltWire's Aaron Beswick has the details.
A shortage of licensed childcare in this province is quickly becoming a crisis. The lack of daycare spaces is perhaps most pronounced in rural and small-town Nova Scotia. SaltWire began our efforts to learn more by visiting Kate Chisholm in Antigonish Harbour.
I'm only able to work part-time right now because of limitations in childcare, and I've kind of in a space right now where I might have to leave my job.
The number of available spaces could keep shrinking, not because there aren't trained operators wanting to open and expand daycares, but because the agreement prohibits new licenses for private daycare operators.
We had a space at Highland Drive here that closed 2 years ago, and we have been unable to open it with the new rules in the department. Private centers are not allowed to expand, and that is creating a lot of heartbreak because we would love to create more spaces in this community.
They're not giving out any for-profit licenses, and they have their 5-year plan, which is going to be wonderful when it comes through, but right now we need it now. We don't have 5 years. The kids don't have 5 years to wait. They need it now.
59% of Nova Scotia's 330 licensed daycares are privately owned. Private operators say that under the program's funding formulas, they are losing money now. Archibald, Jordan, and Forrestal often forgo taking paychecks. They don't know if they can afford to stick around until 2026 to provide the $10 a day care promised by the federal and provincial governments.
It's one thing to say paying less for a household. That's obviously dreamy. That would be so nice. But also, how do we get pay for the staff and pay for the institution?
This is Aaron Beswick reporting for the SaltWire Network.
It's time now for a glimpse of today's Thinking Out Loud with Sheldon McLeod. Today, Sheldon is speaking with Mark Murray with the Halifax Dartmouth chapter of the Canadian Mental Health Association about their 24th annual fundraiser.
And when you have artwork that says something, speaks to people, that it gives them something back, it's got to be a rewarding, enriching experience. And it goes both ways. It raises money. And as you point out, it raises awareness.
It does raise awareness, and it also makes it so worthwhile when the whole show comes together for all of the people who volunteer their time to help us and the staff who work on this off the side of their desks. And one of our staff, I think she dreams about the mosaic during this time of the year. But it's when you see people's reaction and have the positive feedback that we receive about the show. And for some people contributing, there are times when life has been very difficult. And or as I mentioned, a lot of people, just want to support a mental health initiative. But someone came in to the gallery at the preview who had contributed for the first time. And it was really took this individual out of her comfort zone to share her art, because it is a very personal thing. And this art is by artists of all skill levels. But when she came into the gallery, she was excited to see her art, see it on the poster, but she said she felt like she was getting a warm hug. And I think, with the theme being together again, I mean, one of the things that people miss, the most are hugs. But I thought that was a really beautiful, analogy for her to say. And, at a time when we're just seeing, in some ways, more difficulties that people are experiencing with housing, poverty, trying to access health and mental health care. This gives a little break, a little, just a bright spot in your day to come into our gallery or view the art online.
And for Sheldon's full conversation, head to the opinion section of saltwire.com. Time now for the Atlantic Sports Wire, presented by Scott Squires.
Dottie finds a gap, and Hannah Ellis will...
The Acadia Axewomen Rugby Club finished first overall in the AUS this year, 5-1 record. Joining me is their head coach, Matt Durant. Coach, congratulations on a successful regular season. How does it feel to finish first overall and get that bye into the final?
Oh, feels fantastic. That was a big deal for us here this past weekend, being able to secure home field advantage in the bye. Because of the hurricane and some rescheduling of games, we had, three really hard physical matches in 8 days. And so having that extra, hopefully almost week of rest is going to be very, very valuable for us.
You beat St. FX back-to-back to finish off the regular season and clinch first place. How good did that feel?
Oh, it felt fantastic. It was a bit of a monkey off our back, and we haven't lost a regular season game to St. FX in several seasons. We beat them both times last year, beat them both times this year, and managed to let the final squeak away from us last year. So in a lot of ways, it feels like a bit unfinished business, but our ladies really understand that the big game is going to be next Wednesday when we host the finals.
Acadia will host the AUS Women's Rugby Championship Wednesday, October 26th at 6 p.m. In Halifax, I'm Scott Squires for the Atlantic Sports Wire.
A mighty Acadia side, a rebuilding Acadia side.
Thank you, Scott. On to weather now to see what's coming up in the forecast. We're going to check in now with our weather specialist, Alistair Alders.
Thanks, Kate. Well, it was a relatively nice day here in the Halifax area, but changes on the way. Some wet weather and wind to talk about in the forecast. So this evening we'll have a chance of showers and drizzle developing, mainly cloudy, fog patches overnight. We'll see the temperature near 16 degrees. We wake up near 15 on Wednesday morning with periods of rain. As we go into the afternoon, rain continues up to a high of 17 degrees. That rain will continue as we go through Wednesday night and could be heavy at times. Now, this does taper off to some showers early Thursday. I'm expecting about 30 to 50 millimeters of rain here in Halifax. Could be some locally higher amounts too. In terms of the wind, winds will be out of the southeast gusting on average 30 to 60 kilometers per hour during this system, but could see some local gusts up to 70, so keep that in mind. And then we do improve on Thursday. That morning chance of showers will ease, and then we clear to sunshine throughout the day, and that marks a stretch of nice weather that will be in the forecast. That will continue through the upcoming weekend as high pressure dominates. Kate.
Thank you, Alistair. That's all for now. For more extended video and full online articles, stay tuned to saltwire.com. And you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at SaltWire Today. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.